Hello and welcome to this introductory video all about the ABC Clio Social Studies database. ABC Clio solutions are specifically designed for the social sciences. The databases contain a plethora of information and resources for research to support the K-12 social science curriculum. Specifically, in this introduction, we will cover an in-depth look at ABC Clio's main database for research at the high school setting. ABC Clio is an excellent resource for high school seniors finding credible sources for research papers, as well as an aid in research for curriculum development. ABC Clio began in the 1950s as the American Bibliographic Center and later joined forces with the Clio Press to publish historical periodicals. An interesting aside about its founding lies in the name Clio. Clio is one of the 9 Greek muses and a patron goddess of history. ABC Clio has garnered much success in the secondary schools publishing and database arena since the early 1980s, and after partnering with Apple Computer to publish Library for the Macintosh. ABC Clio is not only limited to the K-12 world, they are a much respected source for academic and public libraries. It is key to remember that ABC Clio databases require a subscription for access. What we are looking at here for instructional purposes is the Roseville Joint Union High School District's Wood Creek High School account. All students in the district have access to the ABC Clio database. This is what a student would see when they first log in using their login credentials. Then you'll notice there are 4 separate databases. There are American Government, American History, World at War, and World History, the Modern Era. Notice that there is an option to search all of the databases at once by clicking on All Databases. If a student has a topic, perhaps the Korean War, they can search in the search bar and all of the resources in each database is highlighted. So I'm going to model that real quick. So Korean War, hit our magnify glass. And then notice at the bottom there is a box and it has all of the resources contained in each of the 4 databases. So for this particular search on Korean War, obviously World at War, the database has the most information for you. So you'll now notice that you could go in and maybe select World at War. And if you want to get more specific, I would always recommend an advanced search. Notice on the right-hand side, there's an advanced search, and at the top where it says search the database, there's an advanced search here as well. So I'm going to click on that. And one thing I want to draw your attention to is how the database takes its media materials and documents and separates them into categories. Each one has this in the advanced search feature. This is not unique to World at War or American history. It's contained in all of the databases. There's a general resources, media, documents, and topics and activities. So perhaps a student needs to pull specific speeches from the Korean War era. In advanced search, all the student needs to do is click speeches, which I'll do that right here, speeches from documents column. So we can just go ahead and do this search of Korean War and speeches. We'll hit our search. All right. And this list is not exhaustive by any means, but there are relevant speeches here connected to the Korean War that might be of interest for a student writing the research paper on this particular historical event. Selecting one as a sample, and maybe we could go with Douglas MacArthur's speech to Congress. We could select this particular source from 1951. So you can notice here that on the upper right-hand side, You can save, you can email, you can cite or print your source. For students that maybe it's easier for them to listen instead of read, they can also listen. It has a nice translator for students who might not speak English as their first language. So that's a great resource right there. So these are excellent for students to gather information and come back later. Another important navigational tool is in the upper right-hand corner where students can quickly switch databases. So perhaps this is a little bit too broad of maybe there were too many results for speeches and a student wants to narrow it down because they're specifically looking for MacArthur. You could go into maybe American history because maybe the firing of MacArthur is something that this particular student wants to focus on. So if I typed in Korean War and speeches and complete my search, then I notice I've only got 15 results here. So I've got quite less resources that I found than going through the database that had more information. So I'd like to, now that we've looked at this in depth, I would like to return to take some time to overview the specific features contained in each of the databases within ABC Clio. So perhaps a student does not have a specific topic for their research paper, or perhaps the student has been given a broad idea to investigate a topic or select something that is of interest to them. This would align with the Universal Design for Learning model, or otherwise known as UDL. Notice that each database, starting with American government, has options to explore topics by theme. So we'll notice that if we go to American government, we've got explore by themes, okay? And then for the history databases like American history, we'll go back to American history. Notice that you're able to search this by topics by a time period. So each database contains an academic success corner, which is over here, kind of the bottom left, where students can ask a librarian, they can work with primary sources, they can view videos on how to research, write, read, and critique and think critically about sources and evaluate sources. And each database also contains a video on how to use the database, which is great for visual and auditory learners. So I hope this introduction to the ABC Clio database and what it has to offer has been enlightening. While the database is not as extensive as some other databases out there, it's a rich multimedia resource for students who want to learn more about a topic and find primary sources to support their research. Thanks so much for listening.